Times when I got locked up, they were in blackouts. You know, I would wake up in the cell and didn't even know what the hell happened sometimes.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast. Support for the Suffering Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who's the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle.
Inside the package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker Ear, Nose, Hair Trimmer, and the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant.
And we also got the Crop Reviver Ball Toner. This thing is a life changer. Along with that, boxer briefs.
I'm going to tell you what, these are like high quality boxer briefs, and this is no joke. I'm not saying this just because Manscaped sent it to us. These are nice. My boys are going to be quite happy in there.
You can't tell Kevin's wearing them under the table right now. And we also have a nice travel package.
Join over 8 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TSP at manscaped.com.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of balls.
You know what I mean? It's simple. It's the simple thing. You say black, it's blue. I just didn't want to hear nobody.
She'd probably pick you up from court, read you the riot act, and you just went in one ear, out the other, and you were probably out on the street the next day doing the same thing.
I mean, I was 16 years old, coming home drunk every night, coming home and passing out on the bed.
Do you remember your mindset when you were 16?
As far as what?
As far as how much you think you knew about the world?
I knew nothing.
But back then, I bet you thought you had.
I thought I did.
You thought you knew everything.
And only after you got older did you realize how foolish you were.
I was, I thought I was a crazy kid. I carried a slapjack. Then after that, I graduated to carrying other things,
Yeah.
I was small, but I was crazy. Because I remember the first time I got beat up in Wagner's yard, I came home crying, and my grandmother said, "What happened?" He hit me. She slapped me, stopped crying, gave me a bat. Let's go around the corner and get him. My grandmother was an old-time lady. And I wouldn't do it. She took the bat and she chased the guy.
So your grandmother had some some pepper in her.
People were afraid of my grandmother.
Yeah.
She raised 7 kids. She, 4 boys. They were afraid of her.
Yeah, you don't have too much time to screw around with coddling kids when you got 7 of them,
Especially when you're working.
So when my grandma would tell my uncles, "Leave him alone," they'd leave me alone.
Okay.
They were afraid of her. Yeah.
So she was your ultimate protector. If you were to put yourself in your grandmother's shoes back the way you were back then, do you think that there's anything she could have said that would have gotten through?
No, she tried.
Not to a street 16-year-old.
She tried.
At what point did she give up at some point?
No, she never gave up. Never.
That's a beautiful thing.
She never gave up until she got senile. I'll tell you when you ask about me later years when I when I did the time.
So how bad did it get as far as your crimes on the street?
It got pretty bad.
Yeah, give me an example.
What's like the worst one?
I got deep where there was 2 guys in the neighborhood, 2 older Irish guys that were like brothers to me. I won't use their names. And they said, you could do 12.5 to 25 if you get caught for what you're doing. And they beat the hell out of me.
What were you doing?
Robberies.
Yeah. Did you get any, was it just strictly money, or you got a little acceptance or a little juice when you did it?
Street cred?
I was scared as hell. Scared as hell. But did it because I needed it.
And was it to feed your habits?
To feed my living, yeah. The way I like to live.
And what was like, did you see any future, or you just thought you were always going to be a street guy?
No. I didn't see any future. I really did. I could honestly tell you, I don't know. But I know I did about 7 of them. And then after I found out it was 12.5 to 25, I told the other 2 guys I was doing it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Now you said you worked in a deli. Did you have any other job after that?
No, that was when I was 14.
You never had?
No, and the neighborhood I grew up in, I could have had plenty of jobs. Yeah. Doorman jobs, sanitation, construction. I never had any interest in working.
Because you didn't want a boss? Or was it just you enjoyed the quick, fast money?
I enjoyed the fast lane.
Yeah.
Going to the after hours, the bars and the after hours and stuff like that.
Now, I imagine you being such a crazy kid in the neighborhood, you got sort of a reputation. Listen, if you want to see what John will do, hold on. John, go take care of this. Was that the type of person that you were?
There was people afraid of me, yes.
Yeah.
They would cross to the other side of the street when they saw me coming. They didn't.
You definitely had to have a nickname growing up on the street, though. Or were you just Crazy John?
No, they just Sully.
Sully?
Yeah, Sully.
So, no, I was going to, no, that's somebody different. You didn't fly planes, did you? No.
That's a great landing.
As you matriculated in this fast lane life, if you had to pick out one of the worst things that you're most regretful of, what do you think it is?
Probably doing the robberies.
Yeah.
You know, they thought I wouldn't make, they used to say I wouldn't make 18. I wouldn't make 20, you know. And I didn't think I would either.
Did you ever feel bad for the victims?
Nah.
No.
I never hurt anybody.
Yeah. Just threatened.
No, I just, my part was to just handcuff them, tie them up, handcuff them.
No kidding.
You know the guys with the strong arm guys?
Yeah, we all had guns. We all had guns, and you know, I just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I really could tell you now that I was out of my mind to do something like that because it's just not normal.
Well, guns, it's my understanding that guns were somewhat easy to get back then. You know, I think until 81, when President Reagan was shot, you could go into a pawn shop and buy a gun. After the Brady bill, it all changed and everything. How easy was it for you to get a gun?
Well, one of my partners was an Italian guy that had the boys would
blame
give it
it on
to
the
him.
Italians. Here we go.
The boys would give it to him. Yeah. You know, and like I said, when I stopped, they got another guy, and on the next job, the Italian guy got killed.
No kidding.
Yeah, because the guy that took over for me didn't do the job, didn't search the guys, didn't search the customers, didn't make sure they had nothing, didn't handcuff them.
Didn't do his job.
Didn't do his job. And when they were leaving the store, the owner put 2 in his back.
You know, I know you're a retired laborer, but think about this in terms of your crew of people you worked with. All right, if you have one guy on that crew that is not doing their job, the other guys in that world can get hurt. So it's not only the criminal world. You got a job to do. Cops are the same way. You know, if we had a guy that was on a certain job, didn't do his job, one of us could get hurt. You know, and unfortunately, that seemed to happen there. Did the crime families? I mean, I don't know. You're Irish, so maybe you were Westie or something like that. Did they ever show any interest in you?
I didn't like guns. Even though I carried them. That's why I didn't like guns, or I would have been involved.
That was my career in law enforcement. I didn't like guns, but I carried one.
I would have been involved, but I didn't like the weapons because after collecting money for such a long time, then they wanted to step up the game, and I got out.
Well, who did you collect money for? What gang did you collect?
For families?
For families?
Yeah.
We'll keep it at that.
Did you get a look inside of that world? Because it's very glamorized now on TV. The world of the mafia. You know, everybody. I was here. I've seen where I grew up. I've seen the ugliness behind that world. Did you get a glimpse of that where you didn't want any part of it?
No, I wasn't. You know, I was small potatoes. You know, I wasn't involved in that big stuff. I knew a lot of stuff, but I didn't get involved in it. You know, I was more or less doing like the football sheets or the bookmaking, stuff like that. I wasn't in that big.
Catholic schools are great for that.
Yeah.
You should have stayed in school. You would have made more money. Because that's what I did in my high school. Yeah. To the priest, until I actually was doing it with a priest, and the priest got caught, and that was the end of
the football tickets back in the day.
I was constantly getting locked up,
for petty stuff,
for assault.
Yeah,
but somebody was always there to make sure the witness didn't show up.
Really?
Back then, yeah. You know, the DA couldn't continue the case because somebody didn't show up. The person that pressed charges in the beginning never returned to court.
Was it an uncooperative witness?
So, you know, there was a lot of times where I should have gone away and I didn't.
When you first
see, now that only fuels your fire.
Now you think you're invincible.
Yeah, now you think, hey, I could do it again and get away with it.
You know what? I never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
I didn't ever hurt nobody. These assaults were for fights in bars and stuff like that. You know, it wasn't. You know, I'm an Irishman. I would get drunk and I would get into fights.
Back of your neck gets red. Yeah.
Notre Dame's a fighting Irish. I mean, come on.
So when that first time you get put in handcuffs and put down, and you're in big boy jail, what's going through your head at that point?
I'd like to know what was going through the cop's head, because his name was John Sullivan, and he had to tell his partner, "No, you lock him up. I'm not locking him up."
Really? Any fear? Any type of fear inside of you?
Yeah, I was scared, but what are you going to do? I got the cuffs on me. I was scared. Yeah,
16-year-old in a place with hardened criminals.
I got to honestly tell you, it got easier.
It got easier to be in jail. That's interesting.
Yeah, because it just got easier. I knew what was going to happen.
You knew the routine.
I was going to be in the cell. They were going to do this. I was going to see the judge, and then whatever was going to happen was going to happen.
Yeah, but at some point, the judge has got to. I'm sure you went in front of the same judge multiple times. At some point, the judge is going to say, "Kid, what's going on? Like, what's the deal?" Did anybody ever stop and say, and not so much look at your bad behavior, but look at why your bad behavior was happening? Other than George Steinbrenner?
I know today that lots of times that I got locked up, I was in blackouts.
Really?
From drinking?
From drinking.
From drinking. What was your drink of choice?
Me, I drank mostly Budweiser. Then we went to Michelob. But then I went to my Grey Goose and vodka, the Grey Goose and orange juice. But I would drink shots. I would drink anything. I'm an Irishman. I would just drink.
Jameson.
But a lot of my arrests, a lot of the times when I got locked up, they were in blackouts. You know, I would wake up in the cell and didn't even know what the hell happened sometimes.
Now, your friends around you, what kind of drunk were you? Like when you got real drunk, blackout drunk.
Well, if he got locked up all the time, he was a rowdy drunk.
Yeah, but
dangerous.
Dangerous. Yeah, some people get happy drunk and they do stupid stuff. That's why I'm asking it.
No, but I was dangerous because, I would be sitting in a bar being all joyful, and all of a sudden I'd hit somebody over a chair the next second, over the head with a chair.
But now, were you carrying a gun at that point when you were drunk too?
No, I didn't like weapons. I only carried those guns that when we did the armed robberies. That was it.
So if I'm sitting at a bar, and this is a cautionary tale to a lot of people. You never know who you're sitting next to. You might be sitting next to somebody like John Sullivan here, who's dangerous. You sound like a real dangerous guy. Be careful what you say. Be kind to people.
You buy him a drink, and next thing you know, you got a stool over your head.
Yeah. Did you ever get into any of these altercations for no reason, or it's just somebody inevitably will say something stupid?
There was lots of times when I was in bars where my friends would start the fights. And they knew I was there to back them up.
Don't worry about it, John's here.
A friend told me one time that this guy wanted to start a fight in the bar, but he told my friend, wait till Sully gets here. So he wanted to make sure I was there.
This is some real good friends.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't always like that, because there was a bar called Spanky's on 75th, 76th, and 1st Avenue. And the bouncers knew there was going to be a brawl in there one night. And I was leaving, and one of the bouncers said, "I don't know, Sully, hang out, drink all you want. Stay here.
We need you,"
because I knew how to fight.
So you were used as a valuable weapon for good.
Yeah, they knew they could use my hand
and for bed.
It's mutually assured destruction.
They said, "Where you going?" So I said, "I'm leaving. I'm broke. Don't worry, stay out and stay and drink. We might have a little trouble."
Now, drinking morning till night.
Morning to night.
Never stopped.
My friend used to say I could drink till the cows go to sleep, come out, and then go back to sleep.
So that's how I am. When I was drinking, it was you drink until it's over, until it's done, and when you run out, you're looking for more.
But it got so bad that people didn't want to hang out with me.
You got too rambunctious,
because people want to go out and have a good time.
Yeah, and it was no longer a good time.
You didn't know when it wasn't going to be a good time. You know what I mean? I could be happy, and all of a sudden,
I'm sure your friends had to say at some point, like, "Let's not go out with Sully," because
that's what they did.
They stopped
there's
hanging
out
with
me. Yeah, became a loner.
Yeah.
At what point did it become more than you can handle?
Not till I got older.
And we're talking what age now?
Well, when I was telling you about the guy that got shot in the back, we went to a wake, We went to the funeral, then we went to the wake, and we went to a party afterwards at a club. And at the club, me and this other guy found a bunch of money on the floor. Probably belonged to one of the guys. We took it, and we left. And we walked into another bar uptown with long hair down to here, 3-piece suits. And we walked into an all FBI cop bar, Hudson Bay Inn on 76th and 2nd Avenue. We didn't know that at the time.
That's a valuable piece of
Found out
information.
the hard way.
And we walked in there, and these 4 guys were standing in the corner, sitting in the corner, and said, look at these hippie, no good, blah, blah. I'm not going to say what they said. And we told them where they could go. And one guy cracked me with a Heineken bottle, and my friend stabbed all 4 of them.